Hello everybody, and welcome back to Mario Movie Updates. Now, this is the first episode we've done since the second trailer dropped back in November, and since then, a lot of stuff has happened that I just didn't have the time to cover. All this ranging from commercials, to posters, to even in-universe websites. I had a bunch of other self-promotion related stuff written down, but screw that, I'm just gonna go right in. So to start things off, we're gonna talk about the first official clip from the movie that was presented by Toad himself, Keegan-Michael Key, at the Game Awards in December. In this scene, Toad is guiding Mario to Peach's castle, presumably just after arriving in the Mushroom Kingdom for the first time. Now, I'm actually gonna talk about the music first, because there are so many Mario tunes sprinkled throughout the score that it just gets me so excited wondering how many other songs we'll hear for the rest of the movie. Some I kinda had to guess, like the first few notes we hear kinda sound like the Cascade Kingdom from Super Mario Odyssey. I think there are some notes from the Underground theme just as Mario walks across the brick blocks, and there's a small string of notes near the end as Mario comes out of the warp pipe and arrives at Peach's castle that kinda reminded me of DK Pass from Mario Kart DS. I might be stretching it a little bit with some of those guesses, but the rest of the songs that we hear in this clip are much more obvious. Like, we hear the Toad House music from Super Mario Bros. 3 when we see the Toads withdrawing coins from the ATMs, which I also want to point out also seem to make different coin sounds from throughout the franchise every time these blocks get hit. Like, first we hear the Mario World sound, and then we hear the 3D Land sound. On the subject of audio Easter eggs, some of the Toad voices we hear are pretty much ripped straight from the games, and some sound like Samantha Kelly recorded new lines just for the movie, and others are performed by additional voice actors. Back to the music, when Toad is clearing the way, we can vaguely hear the slot machine music from Super Mario Bros. 3, and of course we hear the original Super Mario Bros. Theme all throughout this scene. But I love how when Mario passes the antique store, you can hear some vibraphones playing the 1-Up jingle. Very nice. And just to tug on our nostalgic heartstrings even more, we hear a snippet of Bob on Battlefield from Super Mario 64, just after Mario goes across the moving platforms. And then we hear the overworld theme from Super Mario World when Mario and Toad go up the clear pipes. Then, if you listen closely, in the very last shot when Mario comes out of the warp pipe, there is a ba from New Super Mario Bros. I cannot believe that they went that deep with the musical references. That is just fantastic. Now, Brian Tyler is serving as the composer for this film, and typically his movie scores don't really leave as much of an impact on me as, say, John Williams or Michael Giacchino's work, but the way he incorporated all that music from the games into the score just in this scene is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And frankly, I'm just glad we're finally getting a movie adaptation that even uses music from the original source material. So many adaptations don't do that, and I find it kind of annoying, especially when the thing they're adapting has very iconic music. But now let's talk about everything else that's happening in this scene. When Toad leads Mario through the town square, there's a public telephone where we can see some Toads making a call. And I also couldn't help but notice how most of the Toads look up at Mario in awe, either because they've never seen other humans in the Mushroom Kingdom aside from Princess Peach, or they know there's something special about him. Like, maybe there's a prophecy saying Mario and Luigi are these great heroes destined to protect the Mushroom Kingdom from Bowser, and that's why Peach would be so eager to help rescue Luigi, because she knows that he and Mario are stronger together, not just as brothers, but as warriors. Anyway, there is a Crazy Cap store from Super Mario Odyssey in the background. Yeah, we kinda saw this in the first teaser poster, but yep, there it is. And spoiler alert, Odyssey is going to get a lot more love later on, so stay tuned. There's also a sign above this yellow warp pipe with sprites of a fire flower from what looks like the All-Stars version of Mario 3. Then they pass an outdoor cafe where some Toads are having drinks, and there's a sign behind them with a coffee cup that has a superstar on it. And I was thinking this could be a send-up to the Starbeans Cafe from Mario and Luigi's Superstar Saga. Later, in the background, we see what looks like a coffee shop with that same symbol above it. Next to the cafe is a poster depicting Toad, a blue Toad, and Toadette playing in a band, and the border is the same one from the title screen of Super Mario Bros. 2. So I guess we have confirmation that Toadette does exist in this universe. And this one isn't a reference, but I love when this yellow Toad walks by with a Cheep Cheep in a plastic bag. The Cheep Cheep just gives Mario this shifty look like it's saying, "Just keep walking." There's a sign here with a chest, a cup, something in a basket, a loaf of bread, and what looks like a pastry. Now, I'm guessing this is the shopping center of Toad Town, so the symbols must represent the antique store, the juice shop, a grocery store, a bakery, and this sweet stand, which we can see in the background, decorated to look like a cake. And as they make their way to the shopping center, Toad greets this other toad named Chanterelle. Now, chanterelle mushrooms are some of the most commonly harvested wild mushrooms in the world because they often have this meaty texture and uniquely sweet and fruity flavor. I wanted to point this out, though, because there's also a purple toad in the original Paper Mario known as Pop Diva. She's the lounge singer at Club 64, and she also goes by the name Chanterelle. Chanterelle mushrooms are also typically orange, yellow, or white, except this is a purple toad. And the fact that we have two purple toads called Chanterelle, that cannot be a coincidence. This is definitely a reference. And now I'm just wondering what other Toad characters are going to be pulled from the games. Now, the antique store is probably the best place for Mario fans like me to find Easter eggs, and there are plenty. We can see some pixelated coins, a boomerang, a hammer, springs, a barrel full of axes, a Yoshi egg, potions from Mario 2, music boxes, P-switches, Lakitu clouds, P-wings, and anchors from Mario 3, keys, P-balloons, yellow blocks, and a dragon coin from Super Mario World, and pixelated super bells from Super Mario 3D World. There's also a sign with prices for other items, and the first one looks like a Tanuki suit, which apparently costs 3 coins. Then there's a Super Mushroom, which costs 2 coins. And I think below it is a Super Leaf, which costs 6 coins. Then we can see a portrait of Princess Peach off to the left, which is actually her sprite from Mario 3 that you see in her letters. And there's also a picture of a castle from the original Super Mario Bros. And above the barrel, we can see an open sign with the word open in the style of the Super Mario Bros. Logo on the title screen. And then one of the customers asks, "Does this thing work?" And the merchant says, "You just have to blow into it." And we don't get a good look at what the toad is holding, but it has a gray color and the merchant advises blowing into it. And when the yellow toad puts it back, it makes a sort of hollow plastic noise. Now, a lot of people have said this already, but I think he's definitely looking at an NES cartridge, since they infamously work better when you blow into them to get the dust out. Now, at the construction site, some of the crates have stickers of grapes on them, reminding me of the fruit in Yoshi's Island, specifically Yoshi's Story. There's also a sign with a super hammer from Mario Maker 2 on it. The Toads are also wearing the same outfits we see Toads wear in Mario Maker artwork. And then when Mario and Toad go up the lift, there's a map of the Mushroom Kingdom to their left that looks like a map from Super Mario World with a superstar symbol above it. And above them is another map in the style of world maps from Mario 3, with the mushroom symbol also being a super mushroom from that game. There's another coffee shop on a higher platform in the back, and Mario's running animation here is also taken from Super Mario 3D Land and 3D World. Excellent touch. Then on their way to the clear pipes, they pass the fruit stand from the teaser poster with the watermelons from Yoshi's Island, and a pineapple, presumably from Super Mario Sunshine. There's also what looks like a tool shop in the back. And finally, Mario arriving at Peach's castle by coming out of a warp pipe might be a nod to the opening of Super Mario 64. That's another assumption people have made, but it also seemed really obvious to me, so I figured I would point that out for the sake of this analysis. And that's everything I was able to find in that scene, and it's just fun for me to see more of the world that the filmmakers have created. And if this scene is supposed to be an indication of what the rest of the movie is going to be like, with this sort of fun, wacky, straightforward tone, then I'm even more excited to see this movie. It's also great to see that it's completely lacking in any of the typical kids movie and Illumination cliches and tropes that I'm generally not really a big fan of, so we don't see any pop culture references or toilet humor or whatever. All in all, looks great. Can't wait to see more. Now, after that, promotion for the movie kind of went a little quiet until January 29th, when Illumination released a new commercial on their YouTube channel and also on the Mario Movie social media channels, which starts out in the Coliseum and shows most of the same stuff that we saw in the second trailer. Now, the brick blocks seem to resemble the ones featured in the original Super Mario Bros., as well as Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Odyssey. And then when Mario punches the question block, we hear that classic power-up sound, and we're thinking, what's he going to transform into? None other than Cat Mario from Super Mario 3D World. So yes, the Super Bell is another power-up that's going to be appearing in this movie alongside the Fire Flower and the Tanuki suit. We see Mario do his best movie Sonic impression, and Donkey Kong just cannot take it seriously. He's just literally rolling on the floor laughing. And this also marks the first time where we actually hear Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. And I'm a little disappointed because I was kind of hoping that he would sound a little more goofy, kind of brutish, and a little stupid. But maybe this Donkey Kong does show those characteristics in the movie. We don't know. This is just like a short sample of his performance. And I know this clip has become a big meme, rightfully so, because it's pretty funny. But yeah, I'm sure Seth Rogen is going to sound a lot better as Donkey Kong in the rest of the movie. Now, before we get into the rest of the commercials, we actually have some posters to look at, because on February 3rd, the official poster for the Super Mario Bros. Movie was released. It's a little too generic for my liking. I mean, you've got all the characters clumped together in different positions, and they're kind of staring off in different directions. However, and I'm not sure if anybody else has brought this up, but what I do like about this poster is how every single character is smiling. And that sort of seems to reflect the tone that they're going for. Something big and epic, but also kind of fun and tongue-in-cheek with a lot of knowing winks and nods. I do love the colors, though. The colors are absolutely gorgeous. And aside from that, there's not really much else here that we haven't seen already. Like, we got Bowser's Domain off to the left, and we can see a swarm of paratroopers flying away from Bowser's Castle. And then on the right, we see Toad Town and what looks like that tool shop we saw in the Mushroom Kingdom clip. And yeah, there's not that much to this, but we have an official poster. It's very pretty. The colors are nice. The characters look nice. It's just nice. And then starting on February 8th, we just got a whole bunch of new character posters. It seemed like we were getting a new one every single day or every couple minutes or something. So we have a lot of these to go over. Mario's new poster shows him in the training course, striking a very classic Mario jumping pose. And we can see the mechanical piranha plants and the fake bullet bill with the bonsai bill face on it. We see the fake fire bars, some spikes, red checkerboard blocks, rotating blocks, brick blocks, question blocks, and warp pipes. Not much to it. It's simple, but it's purely Mario, and I absolutely love it. And then Luigi's poster shows him in that same lava/haunted forest location from the first teaser trailer. He's got his hands tied together, and he's being apprehended by Shy Guys and a Sniffet. And there are bats flying off in the distance, and at first I thought these were swoops, but upon further examination, I realized those are the bats from the Galaxy games. That is a very specific reference, but again, I'm all for it. And now we get a better look at this balloon, which we've seen in early footage, but now we can see that the balloon itself is actually shaped like a Shy Guy's hood. And when this poster was released, Ed Scudder, who's the film's head of story, posted a piece of concept art on his Twitter, revealing that he actually helped design it, and the concept art he posted was one of his earliest sketches of it. So that's really cool. And then Peach's poster shows her on her motorcycle in her Mario Kart Wii outfit on the Rainbow Road, and the road is actually in pieces near the front, so I think the road actually generates as you go down it, which is a pretty cool idea, especially for something like Rainbow Road. And then we can see some Kongs driving up behind her. There are a few explosions, most likely caused by bob-ombs, and there's a bullet bill flying around in the back, though it's not being used as an item like in the Mario Kart games. It's just a bullet bill flying around. And then we get this absolutely beautiful poster showing Mario, Peach, and Toad sitting on top of a mushroom looking out at the castle off in the distance. And there's a waterfall pouring down into this huge lake. And I guess because they know that Bowser's going to steal the show once this movie comes out, they actually gave him 2 new posters. This first one shows him with the Power Star that he gets from the Penguin Castle, and we can see the penguins cowering in the corner there. And this one shows him and Kamek standing on this huge cliffside looking down on the Koopa Troopas with spotlights everywhere. Really gives us a sense of Bowser's showman-like nature that we're hopefully going to see more of in the movie. And then we get Donkey Kong's poster, which shows him smashing this barrel with bananas coming out of it. This whole thing just gives me pure, unadulterated Donkey Kong Country vibes. But speaking of which, we can see a minecart track in the background, obviously a nod to the minecart levels in DKC. There are all these huts everywhere, which kind of look like Donkey Kong's treehouse. And then we get this Aztec Kong head with the waterfall coming out of the mouth, which to me kind of evokes the Golden Temple level from Donkey Kong Country Returns. And then there's Toad's poster, which is just him in the mushroom forest with yellow butterflies flying over him. And then we get this most recent poster released to coincide with the announcement of the 3rd and final trailer for this movie, which premieres on March 9th. It shows Mario, Peach, Toad, Donkey Kong, and Cranky Kong on the Rainbow Road during the big race sequence. And there's a Bob-omb over on the right with its fuse lit, so it's just about to go off, I guess. And then in the center of it all, we get the dreaded blue shell based on its appearance in Mario Kart Double Dash, Mario Kart DS, and Mario Kart Wii. And now let's get back to actual commercials and video footage related to the movie. Now, there wasn't any big trailer or commercial released for Super Bowl Sunday, or at least there wasn't anything that aired during the actual game. But on Illumination's YouTube channel, we did get an in-universe commercial for the Super Mario Bros. Plumbing service. And what really makes this commercial so insane to me is that the song that plays during it is the Mario rap, which is the opening to the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. It is just crazy to me that Nintendo actually allowed this to happen. But as a Mario fan, for them to include such a deep cut reference really shows just how much love and care and fandom is really going into this project. Now, I did a little digging, and apparently this version of the Super Show theme was produced by Ali D. Theodore, and I was only able to confirm this because there is an extended version of the song on TikTok, which credits him as the producer. I say extended, but it's only really like 30 seconds long. It's missing the second verse, and it just awkwardly cuts to the grunts that we hear before the final section, but it is so close to the original. Even the singers sound an awful lot like the original performers. I am still trying to wrap my head around this. The inclusion of the song is actually kind of appropriate because the ad itself is styled after low-budget local business commercials from the 80s and 90s. I also love how you can still see like the green screen lighting on Mario and Luigi. That's just such a great detail. I love that kind of stuff, especially in animated films. This commercial also gives us a better look at their van, which we first saw in some of the early leaks. The Super Mario Bros. In the logo is styled after the new Super Mario Bros. Logo, which itself was styled after the title screen of the original Super Mario Bros. And the graphics of Mario and Luigi are both in the official 2D art style. In this commercial, we see them fixing this woman's sink, and there's been a lot of speculation as to who provides this woman's voice. A lot of people are saying it's Jeannie Elias, who voiced Princess Toadstool in the Super Show. Now, I tracked down some recent clips of her in interviews and stuff, and it definitely sounds like her 30-something years later. And just seeing how much love and fandom is already going into this movie, I wouldn't be surprised if they did bring in some old Deke cartoon voice actors to do cameos in the movie like this. But I think it's more likely to be Jessica DeSico, who's already confirmed to be appearing in this movie as an additional voice actress. It just sounds more like her to me than it does Jeannie Elias. And then we get this shot of Mario pushing this little toy version of their van across this map of New York towards this red flag. And I love how the van kind of goes off course, so Luigi has to move it in front of the flag. That's a funny detail. But this map also includes a couple Easter eggs in and of itself. Like there's a place called Punch-Out!, clearly a nod to the Punch-Out! Video game. And there's also Mushroom Planet and Red Hill, which many have said could be nods to Sonic the Hedgehog, with the Mushroom Planet being where Sonic was supposed to escape to in the first movie, which in itself was a reference to Mushroom Hill Zone in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And Red Hill could just be Mario's version of Green Hill. I don't know, that's just a guess. And then in this final shot here, where Mario and Luigi do like these YouTube thumbnail faces, I feel like this might be a nod to the Luigi's Mansion box art, where Luigi makes a very similar face. Then we get this end card with a phone number for their business and a link to their website. And what's even more amazing about this is that the phone number and the website are actually real. And apparently somebody on Twitter said that there were vouchers for Super Mario Bros. Plumbing being hung up all over the streets of Brooklyn, like the actual real town of Brooklyn, New York, which just makes me love this movie's marketing campaign even more. You can also text this number to get special messages from the Mario Bros. Plumbing service and other little things like posters and their business card if you want. But if you call the number, you get this special voicemail.
Thank you for calling Super Mario Brothers Plumbing. It's me, Luigi. If you need service, please text us at the same number you just called, 92955 Mario. That's 929-556-2746. Message us about any issues wherever you live, house, condo, mansion, and we'll be sure to text you back right away, because at Super Mario Brothers Plumbing, we don't say let's wait. We say let's ago. Oh, and check our website, smbplumbing.com. We're still working on it, so more updates to come. Bye-bye!
Now, obviously, that's Charlie Day as Luigi, and obviously Luigi mentioning mansions. Can't help but think of Luigi's Mansion, but I love that they actually recorded a unique voicemail for that. Now let's take a look at the website, because this is actually chock full of Easter eggs as well. For one thing, the mouse cursor that you see is the gloved hand icon from Super Mario Maker, and when you click on this wrench icon up here next to the phone number, it plays a snippet of the GameCube startup jingle that sounds like an iPhone ringtone. I really hope this is an actual ringtone in the movie, because this is such a great deep cut reference. And then when you click on Certified Super, it makes the power-up sound play, and this is most likely the version that we're going to be hearing in the movie. And then when you click on the As Seen on TV button, it plays the countdown sound from Mario Kart 8. Then when you click on 24/7 emergency services, it plays a version of the jumping sound, and then it's followed by a slowed down version of it, which is kind of weird. Then we get to the About Us section, which is basically Mario and Luigi talking about themselves and their plumbing service. And we kind of get some hints at their backstory in this movie. So when you read it, you get a sense that they used to work for Foreman Spike before they left to start their own plumbing business, which might lead to a montage sequence hinted at in some of the story leaks, where we'll see them try taking on different jobs like doctors and archaeologists, and just a bunch of references to the spin-off games. And then we get some testimonials from some of their customers, including one that is obviously their mom, who gave them 5 stars and said, "The Mario Brothers are the very best in the business. They're polite, professional, adorable, and treated me like family." This one is obviously from Foreman Spike, who gives them only 1 star and says, "There's no loyalty with Mario and Luigi. The subpar Mario Bros used to work for me until they decided to break off and start their own business. They'll learn their lessons someday." And then we get a review from Brooklyn Couple, who gave them 2 stars and said, "SMBP left my house an absolute mess. I would have given them only 1 star, but my sweet angel of a dog absolutely loved them. He just wouldn't leave them alone." But if you notice up here, there's also this broken image icon that if you click on it actually takes you to a 404 error screen with warp pipes that you can click on to make various warp pipe sounds play, possibly taken from the movie. But in one of my favorite details on this entire website, if you click them in the order of middle, right to left, you get a short sample of this incredible arrangement of the Super Mario Brothers theme, most likely done by Brian Tyler for the movie. "Hello, this is future Marc coming to you from the future with a little addendum." So after I'd already recorded the initial voiceover and then started editing this video, I just so happened to find that Universal released a video on their Brazilian Twitter account showing clips of fans at a carnival in all this Mario getup, hyping up the movie's release. And the music that plays over the video is actually an extended version of this new arrangement of the Mario theme. We still don't get the full track, but we do hear more of the arrangement, and I was just freaking out when I heard this for the first time. Obviously, I can't play it here because of copyright, but Brian Tyler didn't just remix the Mario 1 theme, he also incorporated sound effects and snippets of other tunes into it, so it's more like a little medley of Mario tunes. We hear a lot of classic sound effects like grabbing coins and making power-ups appear and jumping and stuff like that, but the other tracks that we hear include the overworld theme from Mario 2, the underground theme from Mario 1, which also incorporates notes from Captain Toad's theme, which surprisingly works really well, and I'm shocked that I didn't think of doing that sooner. And there's also the mini-boss theme for Mario 3. Again, we don't get the full thing, the clip is only like a minute long, but I mentioned in the original recording that I wanted to hear more of it, and now I finally did get to hear more of it, and now I just want the full thing even more. Again, I can't play it here, but I'll leave a link to the Twitter video in the description. You could also probably find it on YouTube just by searching up Mario movie main theme or something. So yeah, go check it out for yourself. It's incredible. And we now return to your regularly scheduled program. And then there's the career section here, which mentions that Mario and Luigi are looking for dispatchers, bookkeepers, marketing managers, and drivers. And you can also click the Apply Now button if you want to actually apply for a position at their business. But apparently they're still working on their application process, so they advise to check back later. And as you can see, the background image for this page is the same featured in some of the leaked Brooklyn posters, including a look at Pauline wearing her mayor suit from Super Mario Odyssey. I also want to note that over on the left, there's a big green car towering over a shorter red car, kind of like the Mario Brothers. I don't know, I just thought that was kind of funny. All right, just when I thought we were done, while I was away in Los Angeles, 3 more commercials for the Super Mario Brothers movie came out that were very significant, and I guess they aired during an NBA game or something, since they're listed as NBA advertisements on YouTube. In these commercials, there are a lot of the same shots that we saw in the first 2 trailers. You'll even see some of the same clips introduced in one of the commercials appear in the other 2. For the sake of things, I'm just going to talk about the new shots, and there are some pretty big ones. The first advertisement opens with Mario and Toad overlooking the Mushroom Kingdom, followed by some shots from the first teaser trailer, and then we see Mario, Peach, and Toad walking through Toast Arena from Super Mario Odyssey. Yeah, I told you that game was going to get a lot of love here. You can see some of the Mexican-inspired structures sticking up from the sand, and the biggest giveaway is the upside-down pyramids in the sky. And then we get this grassy location with a cannon and a wooden bridge with a floating island off in the distance, and many have speculated that this could be Bob-omb Battlefield, but floating islands are seen everywhere in this version of the Mushroom Kingdom, so it could just be a coincidence. And then we see Mario jumping across these large rock structures, and his animation is very similar to the long jump that we've seen in the 3D games. I also love how Peach reaches out to help him from slipping. I don't know, I just think it's cute. And then we get a shot overlooking the field of fire flowers that we saw in the second trailer, but now we see that they actually surround this large tree. I didn't immediately recognize it from any of the games, but if it looks like anything to you, then go ahead and post it in the comments. And then we see Mario and Peach walking onto this moving platform, which isn't new because we saw it in the second trailer, but what is new is the waterfall parting to clear a path for them. And then we get an underwater shot that gives us our first look at bloopers. Yes, of course bloopers are in this movie. We've already got Cheep Cheeps, so why not give us bloopers? The scenery also kind of evokes the underwater levels in the new Super Mario Brothers games. And then we get an overhead shot of what looks like DK Island, or just Donkey Kong's home, whatever they're gonna call it. We can see the huts, some wooden bridges, steel girders from the arcade game, and we can see Kongs driving around in go-karts, which further adds to my theory that driving and racing are actually part of their culture, which could justify the Mario Kart sequence later on. And then we see Mario and Peach riding on the back of what might be Cranky Kong's cart, and Toad is in a little seat hitched to the back. And then in the next shot, presumably from the same scene, Mario and Peach are absolutely terrified, but Toad is just having a blast, just living his best life. And then we get a new shot of Bowser, where we hear him say that line about how he's about to rule the world. We heard him say this in the second trailer, but this is our first time actually seeing him say it, and I love just how smug he looks here. Then we get a shot of Mario driving alongside Cranky Kong, and we hear Cranky say, "Buckle up," giving us a first taste of what he's going to sound like. And maybe I'm just biased because when I think of Cranky Kong, I think of that voice from the Donkey Kong Country cartoon, which to me is like how Cranky should always sound. But while he's clearly putting on a voice, I don't think it sounds different enough from Mario to justify his casting. Maybe he sounds better in the rest of the movie, I'm sure of it. Just the way he delivered that one line, not really a fan. Hopefully he's better in the movie. But then we go back to the Penguin Castle invasion scene, but this time we see the paratroopers actually flying towards the Penguin Castle. And then we see Peach and Toad on what appears to be the balcony of her castle as Bowser's domain seemingly opens its door for them. This is a very epic shot. And then we get a shot of Peach racing toward her castle on her motorcycle with Toad in the back. And I'm going to assume from the lighting, this is going to be like a big dramatic turning point in the movie. And then we get another quick shot, possibly from the same scene, of Peach on her bike, only this time she's using anti-gravity from Mario Kart 8 and driving over the lake. And then we end with shots from the second trailer of them looking over the rocks, which someone in my Discord server said reminded them of rock candy mines from New Super Mario Bros. U. And this time we hear Peach say, "Pretty incredible, huh?" And Mario says, "Mamma mia." The second NBA commercial doesn't give us a lot of new stuff. We get a new shot of Mario, Peach, and Toad in Cranky's cart as it uses a Mario Kart 7, Mario Kart 8 style glider to fly toward the Aztec Kong waterfall with its teeth slowly opening. I'm guessing this is their secret entrance into the Coliseum. And then we get some shots of the Mario Kart sequence from the second trailer, except the way Mario says "Wahoo!" sounds very different from the second trailer. This time, Chris Pratt seems to have put much more energy into his delivery. And that leads me to believe that most of the dialogue that we've heard in the trailers is probably going to sound different in the final movie, which is usually the case for a lot of films, so that wouldn't be terribly surprising to me. But now we're on the third NBA commercial, which gives us a shot of Mario and Peach in the Mushroom Forest as Toad runs past them. And then we get a quick shot of Peach, and just judging from the floor, I'm guessing this is like a big confrontational moment between her and Cranky Kong, because it sort of has that kind of Aztec feel to it. There's a long zooming out shot of Mario being greeted by a crowd filled with Toads cheering for him. And then we see Mario in the training course, striking the same pose as his first character poster. It seems like he's done a lot of training now, and he's confidently breaking through these brick blocks, striking many similar poses to his Smash Brothers appearance, and we hear Peach say, "We have heart, and with your strength, we can win." And then we get a very short glimpse of him actually transforming into Cat Mario, but we only see his left hand glow. We don't actually see the suit appear over his clothes. And then it ends with him in the cat suit, diving, presumably towards Donkey Kong, with claws out, ready to attack. And yeah, that is about it. Cat Mario is definitely happening, and I don't know if I'm ready for it. Whew, alright, so that is everything that I missed in the past 3 months since the last episode. And overall, I am still very, very excited to see this movie, although I still have concerns. My biggest worry is that it's just going to be nothing but fan service and Easter eggs and references. As a Mario fan, of course, I'm eating it up, because just the fact that this movie is actually going to exist and that it's happening is absolutely incredible to me. I feel like I've been waiting my entire life for this movie to come out, and I'm also excited to see just how much more they pull from like the comics and the cartoons and the games, but realistically, it can't just be that. References and fan service have their place, but they can't just be there for people like us to make breakdown videos about and point at the screen like Leonardo DiCaprio and go, "Hey, I know that thing." It actually has to serve the story. It actually has to feel important and needed. So if I can steer the conversation over to you guys, what do you think the plot of this movie is going to be? You can give your theories and your thoughts in the comments and just vomit out whatever you have to say about the movie. Are you excited? Does the footage look great? Are you still kind of on the fence about it? Whatever you have to say about this movie, put it down there in the comments section or in the Mario Movie channel in my Discord server. And since this is the end of February, I'd like to give a special thank you to my superstar supporters on Patreon and YouTube for this month: Red Rack, Henry Newman, and Jake Winans. You guys are the best. I've been talking for way too long. My throat is starting to get irritated from all the talking. So until next time, this is Mark bidding you all a smashing farewell. Be good, behave, be safe, and I'll see you all later.